in a seated position today. Just so you know, if you haven't done my class before, I'm your guide for the class, but your body is a better guide. So make sure you trust your own intuitive sense and your own body, instead of trying to do everything, even if it doesn't feel right. Always come back to center if you come into any pain or discomfort. Discomfort is a little different because sometimes things can be a little uncomfortable, but you know what I mean. If it doesn't feel right, come back to center, take a breath, and come back to the series when you feel more balanced. Okay? So, seated in a comfortable seated position, and I do mean comfortable. And let me just change one thing so I don't have to shift. Okay. Bringing yourself to center. What does that mean? Don't worry about that. Just come into center and take a deep breath. Come to that place, I should say, that feels like the core of your being, the essence of who you are. And take a deep breath into that. Make your breaths deep in and complete out. And then don't worry about the rest of it. Okay, just give yourself some oxygen to start the series. If you'd like to take a few audible breaths out the mouth to start, that's great. But as a rule, we like to breathe in the nose and out the nose. That's really the most calming way to breathe for the body. The body comes into a sense of calm. If we start mouth breathing, it can get a little bit of stress intermingled with what we're doing, and we obviously don't want that if we can avoid it. And if it happens, just come back to your breath. So a few breaths in and out. Getting acclimated to your self-care today, your wellness. This is your time. It's a good way to get to know yourself better as we breathe in and out. Let the shoulders drop down. Think of the scapula melting down your back, creating some room between the earlobes and the shoulders, giving your neck plenty of room. On the next exhale, I want you to bring your attention to your sits bones, the base of the spine. That's your root connection. See if you can feel it not only into the mat underneath you, but into the earth underneath your mat. Maybe even down into the earth, into the core of the earth. Root connection. And then coming awareness to the crown, top of the head, excuse me, reaching for the heavens. Take a breath into the crown and exhale into the root. And think of those 2 points and the line of energy between them. Imagining that line of energy strong and elongated throughout the series. It will bend, it will spiral. But think of breathing into the length. This will give your body, your spine, and your vital organs plenty of room for optimal functioning. Next, exhale, allow the chin to fall to the chest. Feeling the heaviness of the head, stretching the back of the neck, maybe down into the shoulder blades. Inhaling back to center, taking a look to the right, keeping your breath steady. and a look to the left. Not pushing the range of motion at all. Seeing where you go through center one more time to the right. And again through center to the other side. Coming back to center, taking the hands together, rubbing, creating a little bit of warmth here. Prayer hands come to the heart center, right on the sternum there. Marley's saying hello. Hello. Let's interlace your fingers, pushing the palms forward, stretching the palms and the fingers. Deep breaths. See if you can pull those shoulder blades apart behind you without kinking up in the neck. Bring it back in, rolling the wrists. Interlace again, pressing the palms forward. This is a great thing to do throughout your day if you're on the computer all day or on the phone a lot, to stretch out the palms and fingers and wrists. So rolling the wrists. Anytime we move or stretch or compress, the brain sends blood. Hopefully, if it can get there, if there's not too much stagnant tissue. Sometimes it gets stagnant and we can't get the blood there. That's what yoga is. Another good reason to do yoga. Bring it in and roll the wrists again. Bringing the hands down. Right hand goes down, left arm reaches, stretching to the right. Planting that left sits bone. If you're opposite of me, sidewise, that's okay. Just make sure you do everything equally. Coming through center, switching sides. Hand goes down, arm goes up. Inhale. And exhale into the lateral flexion of the spine. Coming through center, other side, same thing. If it feels good, you can look up. If it bothers your neck, come back to neutral. And one more time to the other side. This time coming through center, rotating. So this is when your hara line lifts from root to crown, up and down, lifting and then rotating. Breathing into it. I was just holding my breath. Old habits are tough. Coming through center, rotating to the other side. One more time, switching sides. This is another great thing you can do, these side stretches from a seated position and rotation throughout your day as well. Giving your body a rest from those postural patterns we develop online, on our phone, on the computer, all the screens. It's important to take a break. Coming through center, inhaling the arms up, palms face behind you, dropping the palms to the shoulder blade, lifting through the chest, the crown, and the elbows raise high. Arms reach back up, palms together, prayer hands to the heart center. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, bowing down. If there's an intention you'd like to set for the series, this is a good time to do it. Head comes back up. We're going to shift positions. Hands towards the front of the mat. into tabletop position. All right. In an ideal world, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. My wrists are a little funky, so I have a little bit different angle. You need to listen to your own body, as I was saying earlier. Into cat-cow, some cat-cows here. So cow, crown and tail lift, stomach slings. So extension of the spine during cow, flexion of the spine in cat. So let that cat position help expel the breath at your own pace here. Few rounds. Feeling your spinal movement. Maybe you can feel each vertebrae. Maybe not, but that's okay. Just like I said, getting to know yourself. Try and feel the whole being, right? Sinking back into child's pose, bringing the arms alongside the body. Rock the hips side to side. Roll the wrists. Move the fingertips. Take the arms out into child's pose or balasana. Inch those fingers as far forward as they'll go, lifting the elbows. Forearms drop, hips raise, head relaxes down. So let the head hang heavy here. Bring some movement into the head and the hips. Bring the head to center, but keep it relaxed, circling the hips. Any pain in the knee on any of these kneeling poses, that's not good, so you want to add a cushion. If I'm on hard wood, I use a double mat. You can use a blanket, but the fibers in the blanket can be a little funky sometimes, so just be aware of that. So circling the hips in both directions. Tucking the toes under, sinking the hips back, reaching the arms forward again. Then relaxing the forearms down, untucking the toes, arms alongside the body, hairline on the mat, rock side to side, roll the wrists. Taking the arms forward again, coming back into tabletop position. We're going to take the right leg back, flex the foot. So notice the hip is not lifting and turning, externally rotating. We're keeping it neutral, so that means toes face the earth when you're lifting the leg. Head in line with the spine. No need to lift it right now. Drop the toes down, stretch the right heel back, left leg position of your choice. If you struggle, you can keep that knee down. If you want a little more intensity, take the leg back. Or the knee to the chest works also. But if you're going to stretch the heel, the leg back is a good option. Flexing the left foot. Hang on to it for a few breaths here. Left knee down, right knee down. Sink back, arms alongside the body. Roll the wrists, move the fingers, rock the hips. Coming back up into the opposite side. So left leg reaches back. Neutral hip. Eyes can be right between the hands. When you're lifting the head, you're engaging the posterior cervical muscles of the neck, or posterior cervical muscles. Really not necessary. Drop the toes down, press the heel back, right leg position of your choice. Feel the stretch in the back of the left leg, especially the gastrocnemius, which is the superficial calf muscle on the back of the leg. Both knees down, sinking back again, bringing it to neutral. Move the wrists. Hands come back up into tabletop, right leg back, left arm reaches forward. Bird dog position. I didn't realize that was called that. I'm bad at names, as you probably all know by now. Let's take it further. If you choose, left arm circles around, right leg bends. Feel that 90 degrees between the lower and upper leg. Flexed foot. Reach for or grab the foot. So opposite sides here, kicking into the hand if you have it. If not, you can stop anywhere along the spectrum. Chest and head open to the left or to the leg that's based on the mat here. Releasing. Arm circles forward, taking a breath. Hand down, knee down, right into the other side. Left leg reaches back. Right arm reaches forward. Take it to wherever you can take it today. Maybe pushing yourself out of the comfort zone a little. Kick the foot into the hand if you have it, opening up to the right with the upper body. Release, leg, arm comes forward. Hand down, knee down. Sink back, let all the breath go, release any stress or anything taking you out of the moment. Bring it back to the breath and the pose that we're doing now. Hands come forward, toes tuck, lifting into a downward facing dog. Don't be shy about bending the knees to start. Don't have to go into a perfect downward dog on your first one. Actually, ever, really. Pedaling out the feet. Keeping the breath going. Coming up high on the ball mounds of the feet. Bending the knees, dropping the chest towards the thighs. Big back extension, spine extension here. Remember, anytime you can drop the knees down gently and go into child's pose. So extension of spine, heels towards the ceiling, stretching the bottom of the feet. Pedal it out again. Walk the feet towards the hands. Ending up in a bent knee, forward fold, head relaxes. Shake it, yes. Little movement side to side. Using your hands for support. Remember, blocks are always good if you need them. Hugging behind the knees, chest on the thighs, head relaxing down. Don't keep the head up like that. You don't need to right now. Squeeze and make yourself as compact as possible. Releasing, going into a half lift, flat back monkey pose. Back down. Half lift. Back down. Half lift. Back down. Pedal out the forward fold. Couple of breaths. Half lift. Arms out like airplane wings. Bend the knees, drop the chest down. Hands reach high. Interlace the fingers if that works. If not, you can leave the hands on the sacrum or the base of the back of the hips. Keep the breath going. On your next inhale, lifting the chest, releasing the arms, swinging through right into chair position. Remember, you don't want the knees out here. You want them as close to over the ankles as you can. Prayer hands come down to the heart. Inhale. And twist to the right. Try not to let one knee jut forward. If that happens, back out of the pose. Take it to where you can keep the hips and legs neutral. Prayer hands down to the heart, twisting to the left. or the opposite side. Back into chair position. Legs straighten as arms come down. Paddle it out, let all that go. Good morning. Inhaling, arms up high, looking up at the prayer hands over your head. Bringing the head back to neutral, dropping the prayer hands down towards the back of the heart center. Lifting back up, prayer hands to the heart. Quarter turn, wide angle stance. So lifting through the chest. Feet are parallel to the short end of the mat, maybe slightly pigeon-toed or heels out slightly. That's going to bring a slight internal rotation into the hips. Feel that position just for a couple of breaths. Don't even add the arms yet. Nice. Take the right toes, turn them. Warrior two position. You know where you're going here. Inhaling the arms up and out. Flipping the palms, opening the chest. Look up slightly. Opening the front of the heart center. And then coming back to neutral, palms down, bending into warrior two. Remember again, knee does not go forward of the ankle, outside edge of the back foot. Pressuring into the mat, drishti or focus over the front fingers. Inhale, reach, shifting gaze, straighten legs, prayer hands high. Exhale, back down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back down. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back down. Now we're going to take a little variation here as we come down, a bent knee, variation on a triangle. We're going to keep that right knee in warrior two position, not straight. Hand can come inside the foot. Left arm reaches directly for the heavens. If you are a person that likes to bind, feel free. You can take that right hand underneath the right leg. Left hand comes down, grasping behind the back. If you don't know what that is or haven't done it before, then just stay in this position. You're getting a good amount of stretch and strengthening just from there. And then we'll take the body up back into warrior two, looking out over the front hand. So we're looking forward, whatever that is ahead of us. Let's take a look behind. That's what was, where we were. Now we look forward again. Take a reversal. Warrior two. Arms drop, legs straighten, toes rotate. Walk the feet together to give the hips a break. Pedal it out. Other side. Wide angle stance, left toes turn. So you notice your shoulders don't turn with the hip. This left hip is externally rotated. Everything else right now is neutral. Roll the shoulders open, lift the chest. Chin up a little, looking up. Head back down to neutral, palms down, bending into warrior two, opposite side. Drishti or focus over the fingers, the front fingers. Inhale, reach, straightening the legs, shifting the gaze. Back down. Simple movements, not always easy. A lot going on. Taking your body through different ranges of motion. Lost count. One more, please. Back down. So we're looking forward right over the fingers. Future. Turn around. Just the head, sorry. Turn the head. Look behind you. Feeling that range of motion of the cervical spine. Looking forward again. Taking that modification on triangle, left hand down inside the mat, right arm straight up high. If you'd like to take the bind, right arm drops behind you, left arm underneath that left thigh. Not mandatory. Releasing the bind. You can look up if that works for your neck. My neck gets a little sketchy when I do that, so I like to keep mine more neutral. Lifting back into warrior two. Taking the reversal. Notice my hips came up. I didn't even realize that, so I try and keep the lower body constant if you can. Back into warrior two. Arms drop, legs straighten, toes rotate. Stay in the wide angle stance. You can always bring your feet together if you need a little break here for the hips. Little shake of the hips side to side. Inhaling the arms up and out from the shoulders. Exhale, hands come to the hips and take a forward fold, stopping in a monkey pose, flat back here. Then bringing the hands down and taking your forward fold here, Prasarita Padottanasana. So find your stretch. Blocks are a great idea. Hands down. Try and keep the weight, if you can, slightly into the ball mounds without clenching the toes. We're going to take the hands and walk them out. All right, if you're on blocks, this can be a little tough. Make sure you're on the flat part of the block, not the highest piece. And when we come out, we're going to bring the shoulders over the wrist, raising the heels here, looking down between the hands, inhaling. And on the exhale, heels come down, stretching into that extended back, like you're doing a down dog with open legs. Inhale, back out. Exhale, back down. Stretch the back, the spinal muscles. Stretch them. Inhale, back out. Heels high. Exhale, back down. This time you're going to go out, but keep the heels down. So bringing the body out, might not go as far. Back down. Heels back up, coming out. Right hand centers just a bit. And we turn everything. Toes, knees, hips, chest to the left, opening up. On the ball mounds here. Opening up the chest if that works. Left hand comes down. Extend again. Inhaling back out, this time twisting to the opposite side. Notice everything is turning. You don't want to keep your hips then and try and turn the upper body. Let everything open. And my right heel's down a little. That's okay. No pain in the knees, please. Back down. Extend the back. Doing that one more on each side. Coming out. Heels raised. Right hand plants. Turning to the left. Left hand down. Extend the back. One more time. Coming out. Left hand plants. Right arm reaches. Everything opening to the right. Feel your body. New position maybe. Right hand down, stretch it out. Walking the hands back to center. Bring them through the legs, facing, fingers facing behind you. Keep the breath going. Hands come back to center, heel toe, the feet towards each other, narrowing the stance, bending the knees out over the feet. You can open the knees or feet just slightly if you choose. Or you can keep them straight, but remember the knees never cave in. Hands inside and in front of the feet planted. Elbows pressing into the shins to keep the knees open. Let the head bow down, the hips drop. On an inhale, going into a flat back. You know, if you've been with me for a while, you can take those arms up if you choose. Inhaling, exhale down. Let the head relax. Inhale, flat back. Hands down, head drops. One more time. Inhale, reach. If you can hold on to it, go ahead. Bring the hands to the back of the hips. Keeping the squat here. Releasing the hands back down to the mat. Slowly straighten the legs, going back into an open leg forward fold. Half lift, hands come to the hips. Lifting the body back up. Nice. Can't see it, but I know it's true. Walk those feet together, pedal it out. Turning to the front of the mat, middle of the mat here. Left toes out 45, right foot steps forward. Warrior one position. Notice my left hip turn to the left. We want to keep it neutral. Headlights on the hips, facing in the same direction, just like a car. Once that one light turns, you're going into external rotation. 45 on the back foot will allow you to come into neutral position if you've got enough flexibility. If it won't come, just turn the rib cage and eventually the hips will follow suit. Bending into warrior one, knee over ankle. Feel the position. Drop the hands, free fly. Drop the hands to the shoulder blades. Back up. Prayer hands to the heart, straightening the front leg. Pull that left hip forward, inhale. On the exhale, hinging at the hips. Straight leg pose here. Inhale, body back up. Back into warrior one. Arms come down, pushing off the back foot, finding balance on the right leg. Knees come together. Then we're going to flex the hip, flex the knee, flex the ankle. Inhale the arms up. Maintaining the balance if you can. Prayer hands to the heart. As leg goes back, chest dips down, back into warrior one. Wow, I'm having stability issues today. Arms float down, same position. Find the balance. Bring the flexed hip, flexed knee, flexed ankle. Don't lift it high. Try and keep those headlights even. This time arms reach up into cactus arms. Crane pose. Chest dips down as leg reaches back. Back into warrior one. Prayer hands to the heart. Pushing off the back foot to front. Paddle it out. Right into the other side. Right foot reaches back. 45 on the back foot. Hips neutral, warrior one. Dropping the palms down, lifting through the chest and the elbows. Prayer hands up to the heart center. Straighten the front leg. Pulling right hip forward, neutral hips. Inhale. Hinging at the hips, taking the forward fold. Maybe the head can go to the knee. Maybe you go 2 inches. Your pose, your body, your practice. Don't ever worry about what anybody else is doing. You're feeling it, it's all good. Lifting back up, warrior one. Arms float down, pushing off, finding balance on the left foot. Arms come down, bring the knees together. Feel that position first. Then take the flex of the hip, knee, and ankle. Hip flexor, iliopsoas muscle, working. It likes to command. Inhaling the arms up. Prayer hands to the heart. Chest goes down, right leg reaches back, left knee bends, back into warrior one. Second time, arms float down. Finding balance on the left foot. This time right into flexed knee, flexed ankle, flexed hip. Inhaling the arms up, cactus arms. Chest comes down, leg reaches back, arms up. All right, prayer hands down to the heart. Stepping the feet together, pedaling it out. Inhaling the arms up, looking up, taking a forward fold. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Pedal it out a couple of times. We're going to take a three-legged dog. All right, so take the right leg back, neutral hips to start. Stacking the hips, opening to the right. Shoulders and arms, upper back stays neutral. And then bending that right leg, you can take the cervical rotation here. If you want to look under the right armpit, you can. Not mandatory. Bending the right leg, flexing the right foot, left heel down, back extended. Head comes back to neutral, straighten right leg. Bring it down, back into neutral hips. Leg goes down, or foot goes down. Other side, left leg reaches back. Then it kicks up into stacked hips. If you would like, bending that left leg. Opening up the left hip, shoulders are neutral. Flex that left foot. Looking underneath the left armpit, right heel down. Stopping anywhere along the spectrum. Head comes back to neutral, left leg extends up, back through neutral. Foot down, dropping the knees down into child's pose, arms alongside the body. Rock the hips, roll the wrists. Coming back up, you can go into a regular plank if you want, or a modified plank. Taking the front side of the body down to the mat if you want to go through a chaturanga and vinyasa, feel free. If you're with me, lowering your body down to the front of the mat. Taking your right ear on the mat, arms alongside the body, toes in, heels out. Feel the pressure, or the weight, not the pressure, but the weight of your body, front side down. Taking a couple of breaths. Head comes to neutral, bending the knees. Take the lower leg side to side. And then take the knees out. We're going to go into a frog pose here. You can keep the soles of the feet together if your knees don't like regular frog position. Kind of opening the knees up here, or the hips up here. You can bring your hands under your shoulders. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Bringing the knees back together. legs down, other ear on the mat, so turning cervical rotation evenly, so we get a stretch of the neck. Head comes back to neutral. Chin is tucked though, so we're not lifting the head. You can interlace the back or the hands. Engage the thighs. Thighs lift up, but the tops of the feet stay down for now. And then on an inhale, lifting the head and shoulders and the feet and legs. Maybe just hip bones on the mat. Next week, next year, next life. Slowly down. You can always leave your hands down if you choose, and you can always do it that way if you like. Relax, opposite ear on the mat. Let the spinal muscles come back to center, neutral. Do that same pose a second time. Chin tucks under, head is neutral, or spine is neutral. Interlace, pulling the shoulders open, engaging the thighs. On an inhale, lifting everything up. Slowly back down. Opposite ear on the mat. Arms relax down, palms up. And breathe. We're going to do that one more time, and I really want you to feel as you lift into the pose, I want you to feel your abdominals, lower abdominals pressing into the mat. So neutral head, one more time, legs together, engage the thighs, tops of the feet still on the mat, pull the shoulders back, and really feel the contact with the front of the body pressing into the mat. Slowly releasing. Opposite ear on the mat. That was a lot of back extension. Remember, taking your body through the range of motion. How often do you do that through your day? Probably not very often. So if your body fights you a little, that's okay, as long as you don't go too extreme. Hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to push through tabletop here into cat position. Crown and tail drop. Stomach comes, pulls in, rounding the back or flexing the spine. Dropping the hips down, stretching through the shoulders. And then coming back up, having a seat on the mat. Legs out in front of you. And pedal it out. All right, so bend the knees, feet come down on the mat, take a slow roll down, head going down. Hair clip's not gonna work for that one. So now, opposite side, front side is no longer down, back, the back of the body, feeling all the points of contact. Taking both knees up to the chest. Head towards the knees if that works for your neck. If it doesn't, just leave the head down. Don't play with the neck. If it's any strain, not good. Now you're going to change that from hugging on top of the shins to hugging behind the thighs. Letting the feet go towards the top of the mat. See where that range of motion is, right? You don't have to. Maybe they won't straighten too much. That's okay. Explore it. A little side to side rocking. Legs go up. Hips are neutral here. So about 90 degrees upper body to legs. Don't let your legs go down here because you'll see my pelvis is tilting. That's going to engage the low back muscles. We want to keep those legs at 90 degrees or maybe a little closer to the chest. don't want to engage the lower back. Let that lower back press into the mat. Pendulum like side to side. If you have a bolster and you want to put it under your hips, that's what I normally do. For those who have been in my classes, you all probably already know this. You can do a blanket under the hips too. The pendulum action is side to side, head is neutral, upper body relaxed. And then we're going to take it out to the right the next time and hold it. You're going to, left hip is going to come off the mat. That's fine. You're balancing on the right hip. You can take it as far down as you want, but really try and feel those oblique muscles working. Through center, taking it to the opposite side. One more time to each side. Inhale through center. Exhale to the opposite side. Holding it. Keep the breath going. And through center to the opposite side. Some people may be able to get their legs way down, but I'd rather you go to the point where you're working but not straining or struggling too much. It just makes you engage your upper body and engage muscles that really shouldn't be working. Back to center. Bend the knees to the chest, hugging behind the thighs again, and rocking it side to side. You can let the upper legs relax down. Nice. Feet come down on the mat. We're going to go into a bridge position. Feel free to do another kind of inversion if you'd like to. Hands down alongside the body. Feet exactly parallel to the edges of the mat. I see a lot of toes that go out, or one toe's out, one toe's in. It's really important to keep the alignment so that the muscles learn kind of that optimal alignment for the body. Slowly the hips peel off. If you'd like, interlacing the fingers underneath the hips, shimmying the shoulders under so you really get an opening here of the front of the body. Breathing into it, don't let the heels or the knees splay out, keeping the integrity of the pose. And again, if you want to do an inversion or a full wheel here, feel free. Slight inversion with the hips over the heart, slowly releasing the arms. Hips come back down. Inhale the arms up overhead, stretching the body in both directions. Arms come down, exhaling right knee up to right shoulder, wind removing pose. Roll the right foot and ankle into range of motion. Compressing the ascending colon. This is an active pose. Elbows in. Maybe you can feel your biceps bulging. Breathing into it, compressing the ascending colon on the right side. You just want to move that leg around the rib cage, but bring it back to center. Shoulder, knee, foot and hip, ankle and hip all in one line. Releasing the right leg down. Inhale the arms up overhead. On the exhale, interlaced grip on top of the left shin, left shoulder up to left side, avoiding the rib cage, elbows in, active arms, active hands, compressing the descending colon, range of motion in the left foot, releasing the left leg down. Inhale, arms up overhead. This time, both knees coming back up. You can grab opposite elbows if you want, if you can. Maybe forearms or wrists. Eventually, making yourself as compact as possible, compressing the transverse colon on this last portion. Releasing, feet come down to the mat. Right leg crosses over left. If you want to take an eagle leg position here, excuse me, you can wrap the right foot behind the left ankle. If you can't do that, just cross the legs. And then we're going to take the knees up to this, towards the chest. Releasing the arms. Left foot down, but keep the legs crossed. Inhale. On the exhale, rolling the crossed legs to the left. Knees drop towards the earth. Rolling onto the left, outside edge of the left foot. Shoulders stay neutral as possible. Maybe you can take the head to the right. That completes the spinal rotation. If not, keep it neutral if there's any pain. Deep rotational stretch. We're going to hold this for several breaths. If this is too uncomfortable and you're struggling to keep this in the position, you can always put a bolster or a block under the knees if you can't get the knees all the way down. You want to try and keep these final stretches really relaxed. Bringing it back to center with the knees. Uncrossing, inhale the arms up overhead, stretching the legs and arms in opposite directions, stretching the spine. Arms come down, bend the knees back up, this time left over right. Find your position. Bring the knees up if you can, towards the chest. Feel that stretch. Sometimes my right hip gives me a little craziness. And then taking the knees, rolling the hips and the knees to the right, the crossed knees. And maybe looking to the left if that works. The shoulder might pull off a little, the left shoulder. That's all right. Just keep it neutral as possible. And again, if you can take it the head to the left, that's great. If not, you can keep it neutral. Breathe into it. Feels so good. Head comes back to neutral. Knees come back to neutral. Uncross the legs. Stretch out. Both knees come to the chest. Take the soles of the feet to the ceiling. Bent knees, open the legs, happy baby to end the movement part of the series. Rock it side to side. Bringing the feet back to center, releasing the legs down, preparing for Shavasana. Getting whatever you might need for a comfortable few minutes of relaxation. Excuse me. Feel your body reclined on the mat, corpse pose, palms up, keeping your heart open for any insights that might come in the final part of the series for you. But a good time to not even worry about anything, about thinking, just feel your body heavy on the earth. Let your body sink in. After all that movement, and all of the stretching and all of the focusing, now is the time where all the magic happens. You let your body sink into the earth and enjoy the stillness. Slowly bringing yourself back to your physical surroundings. Some small movements into the body. Gently and in your own way, working yourself back up to a seated position. Maybe rolling to the right, taking a couple of breaths there. Personal transformation is the first step in global transformation, in creating a world that works for everyone. This is the work you can do. Hopefully this will shift one's attention from changing the world to changing oneself. I don't know another way to change the world. That is a quote from Gary Zukav, who wrote Seed of the Soul. I believe he wrote Seed of the Soul. So personal transformation is the first step in global transformation. Taking good care of yourself so you can take care of those you love. That is not selfishness. That is good. That is a good thing to do. Inhaling, prayer hands to your heart center. On the exhale, bowing down, honoring your practice this morning, sealing in anything learned, anything gained. The divine light and love in me bows to and honors the divine light and love in all of you always. May love guide your way. Thank you so much for being here this morning. It's always an honor to guide you through class. I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste. And remember, I will be here next week at 9 o'clock on Wednesday on the Warehouse Facebook page, but then that will be my last Wednesday morning class for a while. If you want to keep abreast to my online classes and my live classes as well, which I'm hoping to get back to on July 8th, barring any unforeseen circumstances, feel free to check out my website, triciaschwaba.com. Thanks so much. Be well.